Well, hey everyone, it's Andrew Bro. In this video, I'm actually going to be answering a couple of questions that came in from a YouTube user, Tina, who is working on her weekly planner. And so there's a couple of things going on here with Tina's planner that we're going to address towards the end of the video. But the first thing is that she's wanting to put the days of the week. So we have the days of the week over here. So she wants each one of these to be one of the days with Monday at the top. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then over on this side of the page to have the hours throughout the day, so individual hours, and starting with 6 a.m. and going down to 8 p.m. I think, Tina, if I understand your question properly, I'm going to show two different ways to go ahead and get the days, get the days put in over here. Just because of the way that you worded your question, I was a little bit confused as to what you were trying to do, but I'm going to do my best, and we'll see what happens here. So, from the sounds of it, you wanted the text to be like Monday running this way. Well, let's just go ahead and dive in and we'll get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go over, we can either go to the Home tab or the Insert tab, but we're going to create a new table that's going to be 1 cell tall by 7 long. Alright, so there we go. And actually what I might do here is not Alt Control, here we go. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to design over here in the scratch area. So we know that down here at the bottom we're going to have, this is actually going to be Sunday, and up here we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So we kind of need to do this backwards. The first thing I would do is go ahead and highlight all the cells, and we're going to go over to the Home tab, and I want to center everything up. And actually I might do this from the layout and go here, so that it not only does it align everything in the center, but it also centers it top to bottom. And so this is pretty simple. All we need to do is do Monday, and see we're going backwards, Tuesday, and so now all we have to do is grab a hold of the little green pin that pops out of the top of the box. So if we're off of it, it won't show up, but when you click on that that box for the table, there we go, all we have to do is grab a hold of it, hold down the Shift key, and we can now turn it on its side. So I think this is what you're trying to do. I hope this is kind of what you had in mind. So now we just put it in place, and then we can make the cells the correct size. And there we go. So that's one way that you could do it. Obviously we had to create a new table on top of the one that's already there. Now let's see if we go ahead and zoom in here. Do keep in mind that that table is now on top, so if you're trying to maybe put color or something as part of the table in the background, you will need to kind of move that out of the way, or move this one out of the way while you're trying to select the one in the background, because otherwise you're going to keep selecting this one. But that's one way that you could do it. Another way that this could be done, let's scoot, Control Z, just grab a hold of you, scoot you out of the way. Another way that you could do it is you could go ahead and use the text box that's already here, and we're going to center this one up, and you could go in, come on, here we go, and you could do a hard return for Monday, and then go to the paragraph. You need to make sure you're under the Home tab, go to paragraph, and tell it that after paragraphs you want 0 spacing and you want this to be 1. Say OK. And then you would have kind of vertical text going on here. Let's go over to layout and put that right in the center. So that's another way that you could do it. I don't know, I kind of like this look a little bit better than having your text running up or down. To me it's a little bit easier to read, but you can decide what you think looks best. And basically you're going to do the exact same thing for the hours that go over here. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're going to go over here, insert a table. We want it to be 15 columns and 1 row. So there we go. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out again. And for this, I'm just going to blow this up so that I can see it a little bit better. Whoops. Here we go. We'll go ahead and select all of the cells, go back to the Home tab. Whoops, actually the Layout tab. And for this, I would go ahead and right in here, let's zoom in on it. And once again, we got to work backwards. So we could do 6 a.m., 7, and just go ahead and fill all of these in. Once you have everything filled in, go ahead and turn this once again. Hold down the Shift key and you'll see it snap into place when it's exactly straight up and down. And then just move it into place. I have a feeling that for this one, the font is going to be a little bit too large. I'm going to zoom in here. So we can define the center. It's kind of hard to see. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Here's the center. There we go. We'll line that up. And then let's come out here. So this part's going to be a little bit tricky, but I think I know what to do. Alright, so we can see that, yeah, the font for sure is going to be too large. So we're just going to go ahead and select everything. Whoops, let's go back up to full page view here. We're going to select all of the text in here, and we're just going to downsize it. We'll go down to 8 point first. Yeah, 8 point looks like it's going to work just fine. And that's pretty centered up. You don't necessarily need to put in AM and PM. You could just have 6, 7, 8, 9 inside of there. If you wanted to be sure that you knew this was 6 a.m. and not starting at 6 p.m., you could put that in. But that's how I would do that, and then you could always change up the font in there. Alright, so I want to answer a couple of, hopefully that helps you out, Tina. I hope that's what you were looking for. I want to address a couple other issues though that I saw right away. And well, they may not be issues. You may have been doing this on purpose. But two things that happened. The first one was, and this happens a lot of times when you share publisher files. If you send a publisher file to another person. When I first opened up your file, I didn't have your fonts, the fonts that you used, which is perfectly okay. You're using them on your computer and you'll save them out, and that's okay. So my computer changed up some of your fonts when I brought it in. That's probably why it looks slightly different than what you sent to me. But I noticed that your pages are 5 by 7, and that's okay if that's what you were trying to create, is a 5 by 7 planner, and then maybe you're going to coil bind it, or maybe you're already putting it inside of a 3-ring punch that's 5 by 7. That would be okay. However, 5 by 7 is pretty small, so these little boxes and things are really going to be pretty tiny, because we're not looking at a full-size sheet of paper here. So each one of these halves of your paper are smaller than a half sheet of 8.5 by 11 letter paper. So that may be okay, but you may be trying to create it at 5 by 7. However, what I would do is I'm going to show you how I would set this up, even if I was creating it as a 5 by 7. There's a couple of things you could do. You could leave this as a 5 by 7, and then when you go to export it to a PDF before you go to print, and then it will actually drop your pages like right in the center, just like this, and then you can use a cutter and trim out each one of the pages right to 5 by 7. So you could do that. If you were trying to do a half letter, though, there's another way to do that, and that is when you go into more page blank sizes, you can go underneath the booklets and choose a half letter, right here, half letter booklet, which is 5.5 by 8.5. So that would be one way to do it, to make sure that your pages are exactly half a sheet. If you were gonna stay with the 5 by 7 size, so long as you export this way to a PDF before printing, you would be okay. But if you wanted to print right out of Publisher, I would make the page size, I would still go with the half letter booklet. Let's just open that up. Go ahead and say yeah. You do want to have the 1/2 inch margins over on this side. So in order to, or I'm sorry, it's the gutter. But in order to have the 1/2 inch in the gutter and 1/4 inch around the rest of it, you would want to go master page and edit master page, and then just come in here and move just the outside margins there we go, and that way it would leave you that 1/2 inch for binding right here. And if you wanted to do this as a 5 by 7 and not a 5.5 by 8.5 that we have right here, you would just drop in guides wherever you, let's see, it's 8.5 tall and you want it to be 7, so we need to cut off 3/4 inch, right? Did I do my math right? I think 3/4 inch from the top, 3/4 inch from the bottom. So that would give you where it's going to get cut. You would leave your 1/2 inch margin here, and then we would take off a 1/2 inch on either side. 1/2 inch there and 1/2 inch here. And that gives you your 5 inches from here to this line. You could also use the blue line. You could move that in back into a 1/2 inch margin on that side. Or for that matter, you could even use the blue line here. Show you how that would work. Come on, go. And then that would give you your design space and still leave you the 1/2 inch for trimming right there. So if we close the master page now, you'll see that every single one of the pages has the correct space for you to design in. So maybe you were trying to do a 5 by 7 and you already have like a binder or something that you're putting it in, and that would be okay. The other reason that you would want to export to a PDF is I noticed that you used a background. So if we go over to page design and we click on page backgrounds, so you've inserted a background here, which is perfectly okay. However, I've noticed that when you print, I don't know why this is, but when you print out of Publisher with a background, sometimes the printer will not pick up your background. But if you do a file, save as, choose a PDF, you'll notice it will keep the background in the PDF, and then it will print just fine. All right, so I hope that answered the basic questions that you had, and then addressed some of those issues as far as like sizing. And then just be aware that if you share your publisher file with anyone, so this goes for anyone out there. If you're sending a publisher file to someone and you use a fancy font or some specific font that's on your computer, and the person you send that file to does not have that font, it will change your file when it opens up. So I just wanted to point that out. Not an issue in this case because we're just answering a few questions, but if you wanted to share a design with someone and you were using a special font, you would need to send those fonts along with the file so that they can install those fonts and update your design the way that you had it. That is going to be all for this, well, it's not really a tutorial, but answering questions. And with that being said, feel free to send me questions. You can either drop them in the comments below any of my videos, or you can email me. And let's see here. Let's just jump over to this. Oh, let's jump over to this page right here. Here we go, and let's go here. Hey, come on, draw a text box. Hello. There we go. You can go ahead and email me. It's andrewbreault@yahoo.com, and then just make sure that the subject of your email has somewhere in your subject, make sure that you put YouTube tutorial question or something like that. Just something that has to do with YouTube, so I kind of know where the email is coming from. Alright guys, that is it for today. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so, and I will see you all, well, hopefully tomorrow night. It's my oldest son's 10th birthday this coming weekend, so I may actually take tomorrow off. And yeah, so if you don't see a tutorial from me tomorrow, you'll know it's because we're getting ready for a birthday party, and then I will see you guys next week. But we'll see how things play out. All right, take care. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.